So hey guys, welcome back. So in this lecture we will understand the class name locator in the Selenium and what are the conditions we should use the class name locator and what are the conditions where we should not use the class name locators. What are the advantage and the disadvantage when we are using the class name locators. I will explain each and everything about class name locator in the Selenium. Now on my screen you can see that class name locator is basically used for locating the web elements that are defined using the class attributes. If a web element, you understood what is the web element. If the web element is having the class attribute, you can write the class name locator for that web element. This is the first condition. Second one is that the class attribute is used to define the style of an HTML element, and that can be used to apply the styles to the multiple elements with the same class name. Okay. When we are developing the applications and we are preparing the DOM with the help of the HTML, then we are creating the styles. Okay. The color styles, the image, the font style, the text style. So these styles we include into a class, and such type of the styles we give the one name in using the class attribute. The method find element by dot class name string class name attribute value is used to locate the element by its class name. So when we have the class attribute and when we have the class attribute value, we can use both of that, and by which we can locate the element. It takes the class name attribute value as its argument. For example, if you want to locate an element with the class name search, okay, in a web page, then you can use the following code snippet. So driver.find element by dot class name. In the class name, the C will be the small case and will be the capital letters. Okay, by dot class name, and you can provide the attribute value here in the double quotes, and this will return the web element. Now this is the another examples: button ID, login button, data type, submit, and this is the class button submit button. Okay, this is the class, this is the attribute, and this in the double quotes is the attribute value. So we always use this attribute value, and this is the login link text. Okay, so if you want to define this web element with the class, you can write driver.find element by dot class name, and you can pass the submit button. We need to pass the whole value of this one. Okay, if you pass the substring, it will not locate. Okay, so this is the amazon.in, and here if I want to inspect this search amazon.in, so I will right click and then I will inspect this web element, and now here you can see that the class name. Okay, if you search the class, so you can see this is the class. So let me copy this web element. Okay, and then we will go to our whiteboard. Okay, so we are here at the whiteboard. So here I just paste the web element we just copied. Okay, let me change the font color. Okay, now you can see this is the web element which I have copied from the amazon.in. Now here you can see the class. So this is the class. You can see this is the class, and this is the value of the class. Okay, so now can we use these locators to locate this web element? In this case, no. So the class name is the big name. Okay, the first condition, when your class name is the long string, you don't use the class name locator as a web locator. Okay, you can look for the another locators. Okay, this is the first condition. Okay, now let me take the another examples. Now here I am on the flipkart.com. If I search and inspect this search box, I will see the input web element is there. So now let me copy this web element, go to your board and just copy and understand this one. Okay, I am just trying to make you understand that on which conditions you should not use which locators. So here, this is the one more web element. Okay, so now for this one we have the class. So this is my class, is the attribute, and this is the value of this attribute. Now can we use this class? No, because this class is having the numbers. So later on when the developer plans to change this web element, they can just change the number in the future, that we don't know when they are going to change. So it is risky to write the web locators with this locator name. So in that conditions you cannot use the class locators. So skip the class name locators for such type of the web elements. Okay, you can go with the name here. You have the alternate options here. You can use that one, but in such situations you don't use the class name locators. Okay, so first, when your string is too long, okay, because the developer can change in the future any text, or if they can remove the space, your web element locator will fail in the automation script, and you need to rewrite the locators for this one, and in future they remove this one. So it is the risky. We need to think like that, and after that we need to find out the static and more static locators for our automation script, so that we no need to update the automation script frequently, and this will save a lot of time for the automation testers. Now coming to the canva.coms. Okay, now here I inspect this one in the same way. I just copy this web element. So I have explained the two conditions, and now let's understand the third conditions. This is the class and this is the class value. Now you tell me, should we use this locators for the class name locators? My answer is no, because you can see this is the dynamic strings. Okay, and this can be changed at any point of time by the developers. They can change for, they can remove this one, they can do the uppercase or lowercase, anything. If they have changed in the future, your script will fail. So don't use the locators in such cases. And this is not only for the class name locators. If you see for the id, name, partially linked text, take any locators, don't go with such type of the conditions. Let me explain with the examples. Now this is my google.com, and if I search this one, inspect, okay, and glfi, so this is the small name of the class. So if I refresh this page, okay, you can see it will be the same. If I again refresh the page, you can see this will be the same. Okay, now you can use this name as a class name. Okay, as a class name value, I just refresh the page 4 to 5 times. Now this is the static on this table name of the class. Okay, so let's use this one, driver dot find element by dot. So here we will pass the name. What was the name? Class name. And what is the class name value? Just copy as it is, and then class name send keys and enter. Just save it. Now you will see this is still the alphabets. This is the alphabet, but this is the small name. There is no space between these alphabets, and I refresh the page many times, then this is not going to change. Okay, so like that you can decide whether this web element is this table with the class name locator or not. Okay, I have explained the few conditions in that you cannot use the class name locators. Let me run this script. So I will right click on this one and then run this script. The google.com, and now this is the search box, and we enter the text Selenium here. Okay, so it's enter, and now it's enter the key. We can see the output is like that. So That means our class name locator is working. So this is the syntax. You can use the by.class name locators, and this is the text box. You can pass the keys, and this is a link. You can perform the click operations. So now here are some disadvantages of using the class name locators. Uniqueness. You understand the uniqueness. Class names are not unique, and multiple elements can have the same class name. This can cause the to select the wrong element. So if you are taking the value of the class name and which is providing the multiple class name value, you can not use the class name locators. And if your HTML is the dynamic, so if your class name is the dynamic, I have already explained with the taking the 3 examples. If they are having the numbers, if they are having the spaces, if they are having the combination of alphabets, okay, with the same name, if you refresh the page and the value is going to change, that is called the dynamic HTML. Okay, and in that case, if you go and write the locator with the class name, you will get the test script failed as a result, and you will get the no such element exception from the Selenium.